The signal was weak. It traveled across the cold darkness of space for 3 days before anyone heard it. Most species ignored it. They were a small and peaceful race. They had no army. They had no valuable resources. They studied stars and collected old rocks from dead planets. Nobody cared about them. But the signal kept moving. It passed through empty systems and silent stations. It moved past trading posts where merchants counted their money. It moved past military bases where soldiers watched their borders. Nobody answered. Then the signal reached Earth's Deep Space Monitoring Station. Operator sat alone in the dark room. Hundreds of screens glowed around him. Most showed nothing but static and numbers. His job was boring. Nothing ever happened on the night shift. He was thinking about his breakfast when a red light started blinking. He leaned forward and looked at the screen. The signal was old. It used an emergency channel that nobody had used in 50 years. Almost ignored it. Old channels sometimes picked up ghost signals from dead ships, but something made him listen. The voice was strange. It clicked and buzzed like an insect, but the translation program worked fast. "This is the research vessel Gentle Current. We are under attack. Raiders. 17 dead. Please help. Anyone, please." Felt his heart beat faster. He checked the coordinates. The ship was far away, very far. It would take most vessels weeks to reach it. By then, everyone would be dead. He sent the message up the chain of command. Captain Sun was sleeping when the alert came. He woke up fast. Soldiers learned to wake up fast. He read the message twice, then pulled on his uniform and walked to the bridge of the UESC Iron Thunder. The Iron Thunder was not a pretty ship. It was built for one purpose, to arrive fast and hit hard. Its hull was thick and ugly. Its weapons were big and loud. Other species called human ships brutal. Humans called them effective. Was already at her station when Sun arrived. She was his chief tactical officer. Her hair was pulled back tight, and her eyes were fixed on her screens. "You saw the signal?" she asked. "I saw it. They are too far. Standard engines would take 18 days. Sun sat in his captain's chair. The leather was old and cracked. He had sat in this chair for 7 years. "What about the slip drive?" Turned to look at him. "Captain, the slip drive is experimental. We have only used it twice. Command said we should not use it unless absolutely necessary. People are dying." "People die every day, sir. They have nothing to offer us. No trade agreements. No political value. Command will ask why we wasted resources." Sun was quiet for a moment. On the screen, he could see the cold stars. Somewhere out there, a small ship was full of scared scientists. They were waiting for help that would never come. Every other species had decided they were not worth saving. "Wake the crew," Sun said. "We leave in 10 minutes." Did not argue. She had served with Sun for 5 years. She knew that look in his eyes. She pressed the ship-wide communication button. "All hands battle stations. Slip drive activation in 10 minutes. This is not a drill." The Iron Thunder came alive. Soldiers ran through the corridors. Engineers checked the engines. Weapons officers loaded the guns. In 10 minutes, 200 humans were ready for war. Far away on the Gentle Current was trying not to die. He was a scientist. His body was thin and covered in smooth plates like an insect. He had 4 arms and large black eyes. Right now, those eyes were full of fear. They had come without warning. Their ships appeared from the dark and started shooting. The Gentle Current had no weapons. It was a research vessel. They tried to run, but they were faster. Now the raiders were inside the ship, could hear them in the corridors. They made terrible sounds, wet sounds, hungry sounds. They were harvesters. They did not want money or cargo. They wanted bodies. They took living beings apart and sold the pieces. Eyes, organs, bones, everything had a price in the dark markets of the galaxy. And the survivors had locked themselves in the research bay. 23 huddled together in the darkness. Some were wounded. Some were crying. All were waiting to die. The communications officer sat near the door. His leg was broken. He had sent the distress signal hours ago. Nobody had answered. "Maybe someone will come," a young researcher whispered. Shook his head. "Nobody will come. We are too far, too unimportant." Looked at the data crystals on his desk. Years of research, stars mapped, ancient artifacts studied, all useless now. He picked up the crystals and held them tight. If they broke through, he would destroy the data. He would not let them have anything. A loud bang shook the door. They had found them. "Open the door, little ones," a voice called from outside. It was rough and cruel. "We promise to be gentle. We only want your parts." Closed his eyes. This was the end. Then something strange happened. The ship shook, not from something else, something outside. Felt a vibration he had never felt before. It was like space itself was tearing apart. Looked at his broken communicator. A new signal was coming through. It was strong and clear. "Vessel Gentle Current, this is the UESC Iron Thunder. We received your distress call. Hold on, we are here." They looked at each other. They did not understand. UESC, what was UESC? Then remembered an old story, a warning his teachers had told him when he was young. "Humans," he whispered, "the..." Outside the gentle current, the iron thunder ripped out of slip space. The dimensional tear was violent and bright. It sent shockwaves through the area. 2 ships were caught in the blast. Their shields failed. Their hulls cracked. Sun looked at the scene before him. 5 raider ships, 1 damaged vessel, bodies floating in the void. He said calmly, "Light them up." Smiled. Her fingers moved across the weapons panel. The iron thunder opened fire. The galaxy had forgotten what humans could do. The galaxy had forgotten why they called Earth a death world. The galaxy had forgotten that humans did not run from fights. They were about to remember. Heard explosions outside the ship. He heard the at the door screaming into their communicators. He heard panic in their voices. He did not know what was happening. He only knew one thing. Someone had answered their call. The raider commander Vol was not afraid of anything. He had led 100 raids. He had killed thousands. He had sold more bodies than he could count. Fear was for the weak. But when his ship shook and the alarm started screaming, he felt something cold in his chest. "Report," he shouted. His voice was deep and wet. Looked like rotting meat shaped into a person. They had too many teeth and too few eyes. "A ship came out of nowhere, Commander," his officer said. "It tore through dimensional space. 2 of our vessels are already destroyed." "Impossible. Nobody uses dimensional travel. The technology is too dangerous." "Commander, the ship is human." Vol stopped moving. Human. He had heard stories about humans. Everyone had heard stories. They came from a heavy gravity world, a death world, a planet that tried to kill them every day. But they survived. They did more than survive. They became strong. Most species evolved in gentle places, soft worlds with easy food and calm weather. Humans evolved on a world of fire, ice, poison, and violence. Their bodies were dense and powerful. Their bones were thick. Their muscles were strong. And their minds were something else entirely. Other species fought to win. Humans fought to survive. There was a difference. "Get us out of here," Vol ordered. "Engines are damaged, Commander. We cannot run." On the Iron Thunder was having fun. Her weapons tore through the ships like paper. Human weapons were not elegant. They were loud and brutal. Plasma cannons, rail guns, missiles that carried enough explosive to crack moons. "Third ship down," she reported. 2 remaining. Sun watched the battle calmly. Any response from the enemy? "They are trying to flee. Their engines are damaged." "Good, launch the boarding pods. I want Marines on that ship now." In the lower deck, Du was already suited up. He was the Marine squad leader. His armor was heavy and black. It was designed for fighting in zero gravity, in vacuum, in fire, in ice. It was designed for the worst places in the universe. His squad stood behind him, 12 soldiers, all human, all ready. "Listen up," Du said. "There are civilians on that ship, small, thin, fragile. Our job is to clear out and keep the alive. Questions?" Raised her hand. She was the combat medic. Her armor had a white cross on the shoulder. "What are we dealing with?" "Harvesters. They take people apart for profit. Do not let them take you alive." The squad nodded. They had heard of, everyone had heard of. "Pods launching in 30 seconds, the ship announced. Du took his position in the boarding pod. It was a small metal box with rockets on one end and a drill on the other. It would punch through the ship's hull and deposit them inside. It was not comfortable, but it was fast. The pod launched. Inside, the gentle current heard a terrible sound. Something hit the outer hull. Then he heard drilling. Then he heard metal tearing. "They are coming through the walls," someone screamed. Held his data crystals. This was the end. The had found another way in. The wall exploded inward. Smoke and sparks filled the room, closed his eyes and waited for death. But death did not come. Instead, he heard footsteps, heavy footsteps, too heavy for. He opened his eyes. A figure stood in the hole in the wall. It was tall, much taller than it was covered in black armor. Its face was hidden behind a dark helmet. In its hands was a weapon bigger than its entire body. The figure looked at then it spoke. "Civilians, we are humans from the UESC Iron Thunder. We are here to help. Stay behind us." The voice was strange. It came from a machine, but there was warmth in it, kindness. More figures came through the wall, 12 armored giants. They moved into the room and took positions near the doors. Their weapons pointed at the corridors where they were waiting. Could not speak. These were. He had been told to fear them. He had been told they were monsters from a monster world. But they had come to help. "Contact ahead," one of the humans said. 12 targets. "Weapons free," Du replied. The humans moved forward. They were fast and silent. Watched them disappear into the dark corridors. Then the shooting started. The sounds were terrible. Explosions, screaming. The wet sounds of dying covered his ears. The other huddled closer together. Stayed behind with them. She looked at the wounded and knelt beside. "Your leg is broken," she said. Her voice was gentle. "I am a medic. I can help." Stared at her. "You are human." "Yes." "Why are you helping us?" Pulled out medical supplies from her armor. She began to work on his leg. "Because you needed help." Did not understand. That was not how the galaxy worked. Species helped each other for profit, for power, for advantage. Nobody helped strangers for nothing. In the corridors, Du was hunting. They were fast and cruel, but humans were faster, and Du moved through the darkness like a ghost. His squad followed behind him. A jumped from the shadows. Its claws slashed at Du's armor. The blade cut through and drew blood. Du did not stop. He did not slow down. He grabbed by the throat and threw it against the wall. Then he shot it 3 times. His arm was bleeding. He ignored it. "Squad leader, you are injured," one of his soldiers said. "I am fine, keep moving." They found more, they killed more. The harvesters tried to fight. They tried to hide. It did not matter. The humans found them all. Val received reports from his boarding team. Each report was worse than the last. "Team 1 is dead. Team 2 is dead. Team 3 is retreating. Team 3 is dead." He listened to the screaming on the communication channels. His harvesters were the most feared killers in 3 sectors, and they were being slaughtered like animals. This was wrong. We're supposed to be primitive, savage, stupid. These humans were none of those things. They were organized, they were efficient, they were deadly. "Get me a communication line to the human ship," Val ordered. "Communication line open, Commander." "Human vessel, This is Commander Vol of the Harvester Fleet. I offer terms for surrender." There was silence, then a human voice answered. "This is Captain Sun of the UESC Iron Thunder. We do not accept your surrender." Vol blinked his single eye. "I was offering you the chance to surrender." "I know," the human paused. "My answer is no. You attacked innocent people, you killed them, you tried to sell their bodies. There will be no surrender, there will be no mercy. There will only be justice." The communication line went dead. Vol stared at the blank screen. In 100 raids, nobody had ever refused his terms. Nobody had ever been this direct, this confident. "What do we do, Commander?" his officer asked. Vol did not answer. For the first time in his life, he did not know. On the gentle current, the battle was ending. Deuce's squad had cleared every deck. 37 lay dead in the corridors. Not a single human had died. Dew returned to the research bay. His armor was covered in blood. Most of it was not his. He removed his helmet. His face was young, too young for so much violence, but his eyes were old. Looked at him. This human had just killed 36 of the most dangerous creatures in the galaxy, and now he was standing calmly, like it was nothing. "The ship is secure," Dew said. "We will escort you to our vessel for medical treatment. You are safe now." Found his voice. "Why did you come? We are nobody. We have nothing." Dew looked at him for a long moment. Then he smiled. It was a small smile, but it was real. "You called for help. We heard you. That is enough." Did not understand. He wondered if he ever would. But for now he was alive. His people were alive. The had saved them. The Iron Thunder was not built for comfort. It was built for war. The corridors were narrow. The walls were thick metal. Everything was gray and hard. But today it was the most beautiful place in the universe. Walked slowly through the human ship. A Marine escorted him. The human moved with easy confidence, his boots making heavy sounds on the metal floor. Own feet made no sound at all. Were light, fragile. Humans were something else entirely. They passed a window. Outside could see the remains of the fleet. 2 ships were still intact. Human shuttles moved between them, carrying captured raiders to holding cells. The other 3 ships were nothing but burning debris. "How many humans died in the battle?" asked. The Marine looked at him. "None." "None." "We had 7 injuries, no deaths." Stopped walking. He tried to understand. They were the most feared raiders in this sector. They had killed thousands, and the humans had destroyed them without losing a single life. "How is that possible?" The Marine shrugged. "Training, equipment, experience. We have been fighting things that want to kill us since we climbed down from the trees. It is what we do." They reached the medical bay. The door slid open and saw something that confused him even more. Dr. One was treating wounded. She moved between patients with gentle hands and soft words. She smiled at them. She spoke slowly so the translation programs could work. She touched them carefully, like they might break. This was not what expected from a. "Please sit here," one said to him. "I will check you for injuries." "I am not injured." "Everyone gets checked, captain's orders." She smiled again. "He worries." Sat on the examination table. One scanned him with a small device. Her movements were precise and professional, but there was warmth in her eyes. "You are healthy," she said. "A little dehydrated, some stress indicators, but nothing serious." "Thank you." One paused. She looked at with curiosity. "May I ask you a question?" "Yes." "Why did they attack your ship? You are researchers. You have no cargo worth stealing." Plates shifted. It was a sign of discomfort. "They did not want our cargo, they wanted us, our bodies. Organs sell for high prices in certain markets, our eyes especially." One's expression changed. The warmth disappeared. Something cold took its place, something dangerous. "I see," she said quietly. Recognized that look. He had seen it on Deuce's face when he was killing. It was the look of a predator, the look of a species that had clawed its way to the top of a death world. Then the look was gone. One smiled again. "You are safe now. The captain will want to speak with you when you are rested." In another part of the ship was working. She was an engineering specialist. Her job was to fix things that were broken. Right now, she was fixing the gentle current. The ship was badly damaged. Its engines were offline. Its life support was failing. Its hull had holes in 17 places. Any normal engineer would say it was beyond repair. Was not a normal engineer. She stood in the engine room with 3 technicians. They looked at her with wide eyes. She was bigger than all of them combined. Her hands were covered in grease and her face was covered in sweat. "Your power coupling is cracked," she said, pointing at a damaged component. "We need to bypass it." "Bypass it?" one of them asked. "That is not possible. The system was not designed for bypassing." "Then we redesign it." "But that would require rebuilding the entire power distribution network." Pulled out a tool from her belt. It looked like a combination of a hammer and a laser cutter. "So we rebuild it." The watched in amazement as started working. She cut, she welded, she hammered, she cursed when things did not fit, she laughed when they did. Human engineering was not elegant, it was not pretty, but it worked. 2 hours later, the gentle current had power again. "How did you do that?" a technician asked. "Our best engineers could not have fixed that in 2 days." Wiped her face with her sleeve. Human engineers learn one important rule: everything can be fixed, you just have to be stubborn enough. "That is not engineering, that is madness." Laughed, "That is humanity." On the bridge of the Iron Thunder, Captain Sun was receiving reports. Stood beside him, reading from her. "All survivors have been treated. No critical injuries among the refugees. The gentle current is now operational, though barely. We have 47 prisoners in the holding cells." "What about their commander?" "Val is in isolation. He has not spoken since we captured him." Sun nodded. "Keep him there. I will speak with him later." "Sir, I have a question." "Ask." Hesitated. "Why did we do this? I know you said it was right, but command will be angry. We used the slip drive without authorization. We spent resources on a species that cannot pay us back. We made enemies of the Harvester fleet." Sun was quiet for a long moment. He looked at the stars through the main window. "When I was young," he said, "my grandmother told me a story. She said that humans used to be alone. We lived on one small planet. We thought we were the only intelligent species in the universe. We were afraid, alone in the dark." He turned to face. "Then we found out we were not alone. The universe was full of life, full of civilizations, full of people. And my grandmother said that when humanity realized this, we made a promise to ourselves. We promised that we would never let anyone else feel as alone as we once did." Considered this. "That is a nice story, sir, but it does not answer my question." "It answers everything," Sun smiled. "We help because helping is who we are. We fight because protecting the weak is what we do." The called for help. They were alone in the dark. We could not ignore that. "Even if it costs us." "Especially if it costs us. Kindness that is easy is not really kindness. Courage that is safe is not really courage." The door to the bridge opened. Walked in slowly. He looked small and nervous among the human crew, but he walked forward until he stood before the captain. "Captain Sun," he said formally, "I am lead scientist of the research vessel Gentle Current. On behalf of my crew and my people, I thank you for saving our lives." Sun stood up. He was twice height. He could have crushed the with one hand. Instead, he bowed slightly. "You are welcome, lead scientist. We are honored to help." His plates shifted again. He was uncomfortable with something. "I must ask you a question. It has been in my mind since your soldiers saved us. Why did you come? I have asked your crew, but I do not understand their answers. You gained nothing from this rescue. You risked your ship and your people for strangers. Why? Sun looked at him for a long moment. On Earth, he said slowly, we have a saying. When someone is drowning, you do not ask them if they can pay for a rescue. You just jump in the water. But that is inefficient. That is emotional. That is not logical. No, Sun agreed. It is not logical. It is human. Did not know what to say. He had studied alien species his whole life. He thought he understood them. He thought all species were the same underneath. Selfish, practical, focused on survival. But humans were different. They came from a world that tried to kill them every day. They should be the most brutal, the most selfish, the most dangerous species in the galaxy. Instead, they jumped into water to save strangers. Looked at the human captain. He saw the strength in his body, the steel in his eyes, the weapons at his belt. And he saw kindness, true, deep, impossible kindness. I think, said slowly, that I have much to learn about humans. Sun smiled. We all have much to learn about each other. That is why we should help each other. That is why we should talk. That is why we should be friends. Felt something warm in his chest, something he had not felt in a long time. Hoping. The holding cell was cold and dark. Vol sat in the corner and waited. He had been waiting for hours. The humans had not spoken to him. They had not tortured him. They had not threatened him. They had simply left him alone. It was worse than torture. Vol was a harvester commander. He understood pain. He understood fear. He understood violence. But he did not understand this. Why were the humans waiting? What did they want? The door opened. A human walked in. It was the captain's son. He was alone. No guards, no weapons visible. He walked into the cell like he was walking into his own home. He was not afraid. Vol watched him carefully. The human was smaller than him, weaker, slower. One could kill 3 humans in a fair fight. But Vol had learned something today. Humans did not fight fair. Commander Vol, Sun said calmly, I hope your cell is comfortable. I have been in worse prisons. I am sure you have. Sun sat down on the floor across from the. He moved slowly, casually, like they were 2 friends having a conversation. I wanted to talk. About what? About what happens next. Vol made a sound like laughter. I know what happens next. You will hand me over to the Galactic Council. They will put me on trial. They will execute me. This is not new to me. That is one option, Sun agreed. But I have another idea. What idea? You will send a message to your people. You will tell them what happened here. You will tell them that they are now under human protection. And you will tell them what will happen if any ever attacks a protected species again. Vol was silent. Then he laughed again. It was a wet, ugly sound. You are joking. Do not take orders from anyone. We are hunters. We are predators. We do not fear humans. You should. Why? Because you won one battle. We have thousands of ships, millions of warriors. You destroyed 5 ships and killed 40 harvesters. That is nothing. We will return with 100 ships. We will take your people apart piece by piece. We will sell human organs in every dark market in the galaxy. Sun did not move. His face did not change. He just looked at Vol with those strange human eyes. May I tell you a story? He asked. A story. About humans, about what we are, about why you should be afraid. Vol shifted in his seat. Something in the human's voice made him uncomfortable. Tell your story. Humans evolved on a death world, Sun began. You know this. Everyone knows this. Our planet tried to kill us every day. We had predators with teeth as long as your arm. We had diseases that could wipe out entire cities. We had weather that could freeze us or burn us or drown us. We had each other. He paused. Do you know how we survived? We did not run. We did not hide. We fought. We killed the predators. We cured the diseases. We tamed the weather. And when we fought each other, we learned the most important lesson of all. What lesson? We learned that there is nothing more dangerous than a human who has something to protect. Vol felt the cold feeling in his chest again, the same feeling he had felt when the iron thunder appeared. When humans fight for ourselves, we are dangerous, Sun continued. But when we fight for others, we are unstoppable. We do not retreat. We do not surrender. We do not stop until the threat is destroyed, completely, permanently. You are trying to scare me. I am trying to save your people. Sun leaned forward. Send the message. Tell the what you saw here. Tell them that they have chosen to protect the weak. Tell them that if they come for our protected species, we will come for them. And if we do not listen. Sun's eyes went cold. Then we will hunt every ship in the galaxy. We will find every harvester base. We will destroy every market that sells stolen bodies. And we will not stop until they are nothing but a warning in history books. Vol stared at the human. He wanted to laugh. He wanted to dismiss this threat as empty words, but he could not. Because he had seen what the humans could do. He had watched his elite harvesters die like insects. He had watched his ships burn like paper. He had seen the look in the human soldiers' eyes when they killed his warriors. They were not cruel. They were not angry. They were just efficient, like they were cleaning a dirty room. That was what scared him most. Humans did not hate they did not even seem to think about them much. They were just a problem, and humans solved problems. I will send the message, Vol said quietly. Good, Sun stood up. You will also tell them one more thing. What? Tell them that this is only the beginning. Humanity is watching now. We have decided that the strong should not prey on the weak. We have decided that the innocent deserve protection. And we have decided that we are the ones who will provide it. Why do you care about other species? They are not your people, they are not your family, they are nothing to you. Sun walked to the door. He stopped and looked back at the commander. They are people, that is enough. He left. Vol sat alone in the dark cell. He thought about what the human had said. He thought about everything he had seen. And for the first time in his life, he was truly afraid. In the common area of the Iron Thunder, the mood was different, and humans sat together, sharing food and stories. Was teaching a group of scientists about human music. She played songs from her. They listened with their big black eyes wide open. This sound is very strange, one of them said. It is loud and fast, but also beautiful. It is called rock and roll, said with a smile. It is about rebellion, about fighting against things that try to hold you down. Your species has music about fighting. We have music about everything. Love, war, loss, hope. We put our feelings into sounds. Nearby, Du was showing children pictures on his. They were pictures of Earth, mountains, oceans, cities, forests full of dangerous animals. This is a bear, he said, pointing at a large creature. It is very strong. It can kill a human easily. How do you survive on your planet? A child asked. We are careful, and we are stubborn, and when something attacks us, we fight back. Are you ever scared? Du thought about this. Yes, we are scared all the time, but we do not let fear stop us. We use fear to make us stronger. Watched these interactions from across the room. He saw humans laughing with his people. He saw them sharing food and stories. He saw gentleness where he expected violence. Sat down beside him. She had changed out of her combat armor. Without it, she looked smaller, almost normal, almost not like it at all. You look confused, she said. I am confused. About what? About you, about all of you, turned to face her. I was taught that we're monsters, that you were primitive and violent and dangerous, but you are none of those things, or rather, you are all of those things and more. Nodded, we are complicated. All intelligent species are complicated. You just know more about humans now. I know that you killed 37 today, and I know that you treated our wounded with kindness. How can you be both things? Because both things are necessary. looked at him with serious eyes. "We are violent because the universe is violent. Things want to kill us. Things want to hurt us. If we were not violent, we would not survive." "And the kindness?" "We are kind because kindness is what makes survival worth it. What is the point of living if you cannot help others? What is the point of being strong if you cannot protect the weak?" Considered this. That is a very human philosophy. It is, and it is not perfect. We make mistakes. We hurt people we should not hurt. We fail to help people we should help, but we try. That is all anyone can do. The ship's communication system beeped. A message from the had been received. Sun read it in front of his crew. It was simple and direct. "The Harvester fleet acknowledges the human message. The will not be touched. The will be avoided." There was no threat, no promise of revenge, just acceptance. Raised an eyebrow. That was easier than expected. "Fear is a powerful motivator," Sun said. "But it is not enough. We need to make sure this message spreads. We need the galaxy to know that humans will protect those who cannot protect themselves." "How do we do that, sir?" Sun looked at. "We send an ambassador home. Someone who can tell the story of what happened here. Someone who can explain what humans really are." Felt his plates shift. "You want me to be your ambassador?" "I want you to tell the truth. Tell your people what you saw. Tell them about the violence and the kindness. Tell them about the death and the hope. Tell them that humans are here and we are watching, and we will answer when someone calls for help." Stood up straight, his forearms pressed together in a gesture of respect. "I will tell them, Captain. I will tell everyone." The message was beginning to spread. 3 months had passed since the rescue. The gentle current was repaired and flying again, stood on the bridge of his ship and looked at the stars. Everything was different now. The story had spread across the galaxy like fire. At first, nobody believed it. Saving innocent researchers. Humans answering a distress call from strangers. It sounded like a children's story. It sounded impossible. But told everyone who would listen. He showed them recordings from the battle. He showed them images of human medics treating wounded. He showed them the message from the, admitting that they would never touch the again. People started to believe. On a small moon in the outer sectors, a trading post received a copy of the recording. The owner was a creature with 6 legs and no eyes. He listened to the story 3 times. Then he quietly saved the human emergency frequency in his communication system, just in case. On a colony ship carrying refugees from a dying world, children gathered around a screen and watched humans in black armor saving thin insect creatures. One child asked her mother what kind of monsters those armored beings were. Her mother said they were not monsters. They were guardians. On the harvesters whispered in dark corners. They told stories about stories about ships that tore through dimensional space, stories about soldiers who could not be stopped, stories about a captain who looked at the most feared raider commander in the sector and told him to be afraid. They had always been the hunters. Now they understood what it felt like to be prey. In the capital city, Elder receives full report. He was old, even by standards. His plates were faded and cracked. He had seen many things in his long life, but he had never seen anything like this. "You are certain?" he asked. "The humans asked for nothing in return." "Nothing," confirmed. "I offered them trade agreements, scientific knowledge, political alliance. They refused everything. They said that helping us was its own reward." "That is not how the galaxy works." "I know, but perhaps it is how the galaxy should work." Elder was quiet for a long time. Then he made a decision. "I will contact the human government. I will speak to their leaders directly." 3 weeks later, Elder stood in a conference room on Earth's orbital station. Across from him sat Admiral, the commander of the UESC fleet. The Admiral was old for a human, with gray hair and deep lines on his face, but his eyes were sharp and clear. "Thank you for meeting with me," said. I have come to discuss the events involving Captain Sun and his crew. Captain Sun acted without authorization, the admiral said. He used experimental technology. He engaged hostile forces without orders. He risked his ship and his crew for a species we have no alliance with. Felt his hope beginning to fade. I see, you disapprove of his actions. I did not say that, the admiral smiled. It was the same kind of smile Sun had, warm and dangerous at the same time. I said he acted without authorization. He will receive a formal reprimand for his record. He will also receive a medal for bravery and a promotion. Blinked, I do not understand. Sun did what we would all hope to do. He heard someone in trouble and he helped them. That is what humans are supposed to be. That is what we want to be. Sometimes our rules get in the way of doing what is right. When that happens, we need people like Sun to ignore the rules. But what about they will remember this, they will want revenge? Admiral leaned back in his chair. Let them remember, let them want revenge, let them come. You are not worried. I am worried about many things, Elder. They are not one of them. We have been fighting things that want to kill us since the beginning of our species. We are good at it. Very good. Thought about what he had seen on the Iron Thunder. He thought about the ease with which human soldiers had killed the most dangerous raiders in the sector. He thought about the weapons and the armor and the cold efficiency. I believe you, he said. Good, now let us talk about the future. The admiral pressed a button on his desk. A star map appeared in the air between them. Humanity has made a decision. We have been alone in this galaxy for too long. We have watched from the edges. We have kept to ourselves. That ends now. What do you mean? We are going to protect people. Anyone who needs help. Anyone who is being attacked by those stronger than themselves. Anyone who calls out into the dark and hopes someone is listening. Felt that warm feeling again, the one it described, hope. Why, he asked, why would you do this? You gain nothing from it. Admiral stood up and walked to the window. Outside, the earth hung in the blackness of space, blue and green and white, beautiful and deadly. My grandmother used to tell me stories, he said. She said that when humans first looked up at the stars, we dreamed of meeting other beings. We dreamed of making friends. We dreamed of building something together, something bigger than ourselves. He turned to face. Those dreams did not come true. The galaxy was not friendly. Species did not trust each other. Everyone was afraid. Everyone was alone. But we never stopped dreaming. We never stopped hopping. And now we are strong enough to make those dreams real. By protecting the weak. By being the kind of species we always wanted to meet. By being the friends we always wanted to have. By answering when someone calls for help, even if it costs us, even if it is hard, even if everyone else says we are foolish. Bowed his head in the gesture of deep respect. The people will remember what you have done for us. We will tell our children. We will tell their children. Humans will never be forgotten. We do not want to be remembered, said. We want to be trusted. We want species to know that when they are in trouble they can call us, and we will come. With overwhelming force. The admiral smiled again. When necessary, but also with open hands, with medicine, with engineers, with friendship. Humanity has much to offer besides violence. We just want the chance to prove it. 3 days later, returned home. He brought with him something precious, a small communication device. It was simple and plain, but it contained the most powerful thing in the galaxy. A direct line to humanity. News of the device spread quickly. Other species came too, asking questions. What were the humans like? Were they really as dangerous as the stories said? Were they really as kind? Told them the truth. Humans were both. They were the most dangerous species in the galaxy, and they were the most compassionate. They would burn your enemies to ash, and they would hold your hand while you cried. More species contacted humanity, slowly at first, then faster. Requests for help came from across the galaxy. Refugees needed transport. Colonies needed protection. Sick worlds needed medicine. And humans came. They came in their ugly, brutal ships. They came with their heavy armor and their loud weapons. They came with their doctors and their engineers and their soldiers. They came because someone asked for help. In her room on the Iron Thunder kept a small collection of gifts, a crystal from a woven cloth from the refugees of Six, a child's drawing from a colony they had defended from pirates. Dew had a similar collection. So did every member of the crew. They did not keep these things for pride. They kept them to remember why they fought, why they bled, why they sometimes died. Captain Sun kept only one thing, a photograph. It showed his grandmother smiling at the camera, telling him stories about the stars. "We are not alone anymore," he whispered to the picture, "and neither is anyone else." Far across the galaxy, in 100 different systems, in 1,000 different ships, beings of all shapes and sizes looked at their communication systems. They saw the human emergency frequency saved in their contacts. They did not know if they would ever need it. But they knew that if they called, someone would answer. They would come, and they would arrive with overwhelming force. Not to conquer, not to destroy, but to protect. That was humanity's promise to the galaxy. And humans always kept their promises.